Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Here's a straight up honest truth. If you're struggling, getting bad results, just really stuck in some area of your life, you are following a bad script or set of instructions. Not possibly, not maybe, but in your relationships, in your career, in your finances, in your day-to-day mindset, maybe in your band or in your gaming group, whatever it is. If you're getting those bad results, you are following a bad script or set of instructions. And chances are you didn't even write it. It got handed down to you by somebody, by society, by your parents, by your peers, maybe conventional wisdom on that subject. And maybe you did write it. Maybe you wrote it when you were a child, but it was written by somebody that was too young, too scared, or too uninformed to make better choices. Whatever it is, wherever it comes from, laying blame and playing that game, well, it's their fault or my fault, and that is a waste of time and it's a waste of emotional energy. What's really important at this point is that you can rewrite the script. Now, like I said, a lot of the instructions or scripts that we get handed to us have been handed to us by other people. In a lot of cases, the instructions for society, those are written by people that have been dead a long time, and everybody else is just blindly following them and following the school to work and all of the stuff I talk about in the past on this channel. And maybe your parents are just repeating what they heard somebody else say, and so are your friends, and so are people that are passing on conventional wisdom about gaming or bands or whatever it is. They're just repeating what they heard somebody else say. And if you wrote your own scripts, your own instructions, your own methods for handling life that aren't working, have some compassion on yourself, because this was probably written by a child and who just did the best they could and didn't know any better. But once again, the good news is at this point, you can rewrite the script. And you need to change it because clearly it's not working for you. But the good news, once again, is you have the power to do that. Now, at this point, what you really need to do is get honest about the situation, about what needs to change, about how it needs to change, about what you need to do. And here's where it really pays to get some help, because most of us, we're too close to our problems. We need another set of eyes. We need to bounce things off other people and say, well, what do you see here? And it's not because we're stupid. It's not because we're weak. It's because we're human. And it's really easy to miss things when we're really, really close to them. And the goal is an accurate, evidence-based assessment of what's going on, what needs to change. Not what feels true, not what you've always believed, not what makes sense emotionally, but what's actually true. You've got to challenge your assumptions. You've got to be able to think critically. You got to question the story that you've been telling yourself probably for a long time. Most people never do that. They react, they rationalize, and they blame other people, and nothing ever changes. But if you're watching this video, if you're a fan of the channel, you're different. You're ready to think, right? So once you see what needs to change, once you have this accurate assessment of the truth and what you need to do, well, you got to act at this point. And it's going to be uncomfortable. I can't lie to you and tell you it's going to be comfortable. But here's the truth. You're already uncomfortable. You already have this area where things kind of suck. So if you're going to be uncomfortable, why don't you be uncomfortable doing something that's going to create some positive change, that's going to result in a transformation, to use the vernacular. And a very good friend, a mentor of sorts of mine, told me a long time ago, there is no pain in change, only in the resistance to it. And this has made sense, and this has ended up being true every single time. And sometimes I can resist change like a mother, but it doesn't serve me very well. But the actual change, not so painful. The resistance, painful. The uncomfortability with doing something different, it's uncomfortable. I don't want to say it's painful. And don't go it alone. You could do this by yourself. You can make the changes you need to make by yourself, but why would you? There are people out there who have been through exactly what you're going through and have made positive changes in their life. They've done the thing that you want to do. And there's other people out there that maybe they haven't walked that same exact path, but they know how to help, even if they haven't lived it, because very often, you can see, and you've had this experience with your friends, I bet, you can see, hey, you know what? You're missing this one thing, and I think if you did this, things would work out a little better because I think you're deluding yourself a little bit. I think everybody's had that experience. And the thing is, we need feedback. We need constant feedback. Some people are going to be cheerleaders. Some people are just going to tell us the truth, without holding anything back because they have their best interests at heart. But you need constant feedback, not just from yourself, but from some other people that you trust that have your best interests. And let's be clear, this is not about grinding yourself, and punishing yourself and trying to get better and then beating yourself up because you're not where you're supposed to be or you've been following the wrong path. And how could I? You're probably beating yourself up enough anyway. In fact, you're beating yourself up too much. Stop it. At the same point, you've got to do something. So it's not about coddling yourself and just saying, oh, I understand. It's not about self-pity and comfort either. You've got to get out of your comfort zone. It's about practicality, if I can talk. It's about clarity. It's about honest reflection, getting support, and taking action and doing that over and over again. So what do you do now? If this resonates with you at all, don't just end the video and scroll and like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Don't just do that. Take a moment and ask yourself, where am I following a broken script? Where am I following a bad set of instructions? And what would it take to rewrite it? You don't have to fix everything overnight. You don't need to be perfect, not even close to perfect. You just need to start. You just need to keep going, and you don't have to do it alone. So if this resonated with you, let me know about it. And you should probably watch this video, wherever it might be. Take it easy, kids. Have a good one.